We are sick and tired of being sick and tired.
What is integrity? You know, integrity doing the right thing when nobody's looking, all right? You know, are you a leader or a follower? I'm a leader. What's the difference? Think for myself, all right? Do you have confidence? Yes. What's not?
Hi, classmates. It's your girl, Mishi, baby. Hope you all are having a great and productive week. This week for me has been pretty hectic. There's a lot of ripping and running the streets. So the next few days, I definitely plan on resting and relaxing. Did you know, though, that after today, we have 148 days remaining in this year, 2020? Every year typically has like a few defining moments, but 2020 has been rough. There's so much going on around the world. This is just such an unprecedented time. For my community, the African American community in particular, have to face new, and some may say old realities and incidences of hate and domestic terrorism on a daily basis. Every day, it seems like a new viral video surfaces of police violence and misconduct. This is just not up for debate. What I've seen in these horrific videos is extremely sad. It makes me extremely mad. It makes me extremely frustrated. I've protested in the streets. That will never stop. I've signed petitions. That will never stop. I've registered people to vote. That will never stop. My efforts for equality and justice, that will never stop. Sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough, and that's a tough feeling to feel. I've noticed, though, that there is this growing interest and awareness of human rights and civil rights. And for those that are like me and just want to do your part in any capacity, continue to listen. I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to my Black and brown folks, the allies that stand with us. And the common consensus is that we can no longer be ignorant to our rights as human beings in the United States of America. No matter who you are, no matter how you live, you have rights, and these rights are meant to protect you. One of my favorite quotes from Martin Luther King Jr. is, "We want all of our rights. We want them here, and we want them now." Everyone has basic rights under the U.S. Constitution and civil rights laws. There's a difference between federal, state, and local laws. Federal laws apply to everyone in the United States, and local laws apply to people who live and work in a particular state, commonwealth, territory, city, municipality, town, township, or village. In this lesson series, we are going to mostly focus on state law. My goal is to choose 10 interesting laws in each state around the country and deliver it to the people. These laws might be new, these laws might be old, but hopefully it serves its purpose. Okay, we will start with my state, the Lone Star State, Texas. But first, I need to give a disclaimer. I am not your lawyer. I am not your counsel. This content is intended to serve as general information. It is not legal advice, nor intended as legal advice. I don't watch Law and Order. I don't watch CSI. I don't watch Criminal Minds. So, with that being said, let's begin the lesson.
10.
Am I required to wear a mask in Texas? The answer is yes. Once the governor and local governments declare a state of emergency, they may create emergency management plans that control the movement of the people when it's necessary for the preservation of life and other disaster mitigation. On July 2nd, Governor Abbott issued an executive order, GA-29, requiring face coverings over the nose and mouth when people in Texas are inside a building or space open to the public, or when outside and not able to maintain 6 feet of social distance from someone. This order contains a list of exemptions, children under the age of 10, and people with certain medical conditions. Masks are also not required during activities including swimming, eating in a restaurant, and exercising outdoors. The order says local officials can and should enforce the face covering requirement. No jail time for not following this order. First-time offenders will receive a verbal or written warning, with subsequent violations punishable by a fine up to $250.
9.
Am I able to film a police officer? The answer is yes, most of the time. When in a public space, you have the right to photograph anything that is in plain view. That includes federal buildings, transportation facilities, and even police. When you are on private property, the property owner may set rules about taking photographs. The property owner can ask you off of their property and have you arrested for trespassing if you don't comply. Police officers may not generally confiscate or demand to view your photographs or video without a warrant. Even if you are being arrested, the police may not search the digital contents of a cell phone without a warrant. The same rules should apply to digital cameras. The photographer should clearly tell the officer they do not have consent to search their digital files. Police may not delete your photographs or video under any circumstance. Police officers may order citizens to cease activities that are interfering with law enforcement operations. This does not mean that you have to stop filming. This means stand at a safe distance. Do not interfere with what the officers are doing. Do not stand close enough to obstruct their movements if possible. Do not try to hide the fact that you're recording. There's a big distinction between visual photographic record, which is fully protected, and the audio portion of a videotape. In Texas, recording with the consent of just one party to the conversation, you can tape your own interaction with officers without violating wiretap statutes.
8.
Is marijuana legal in Texas? The answer is nope, not yet. Marijuana and hemp are often indistinguishable by look or smell because they both come from the cannabis plant. But hemp is legal and marijuana is not. Marijuana is now classified as a cannabis plant with a THC concentration of more than 0.3%. If the substance has less than 0.3% THC, it's considered hemp. House Bill 1325 legalized hemp and hemp-derived extracts like CBD oil, as long as they contain no more than 0.3% THC. But buyer beware, anyone can sell CBD in Texas. Many of the products are advertised as natural alternatives to prescription medication and make unfounded claims to treat conditions like chronic pain, depression, anxiety, insomnia, diabetes, and psychosis. None of these claims are recognized by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. Medical cannabis is legal in Texas in a very limited circumstance. In 2015, a law passed called Texas Compassionate Use Act, allowing people with epilepsy, Parkinson's disease, ALS to have access to cannabis oils with less than 0.5 THC. Since the law change, prosecutors and state crime labs have dropped hundreds of pending marijuana charges and declined to pursue new ones because they don't have the resources to detect a substance-precise THC amount. Marijuana prosecutions in Texas plummeted by more than half in the 6 months after the law was enacted. And who shall we thank for this bill being passed? Well, Texas farmers, of course. Under the House Bill 1325, Texas farmers have the opportunity to cultivate a drought-resistant cash crop, that being hemp. Maybe they'll see marijuana as a cash crop. That's just a thought.
7.
Can I order alcohol with my to-go orders? The answer is yes. Governor Abbott signed the bill earlier this year, and in the law it states that those with beer and wine retail license can apply for permits to deliver alcoholic beverages themselves or contract through a delivery service. Those who deliver the alcohol must be 21 years old, and anyone who orders must show a valid ID and sign the receipt once they receive the delivery. One stipulation is that beer and wine can only be delivered to someone if it comes also with food. This new law is to help support the hospitality industry. So as long as you buy food, you can order beer to go, wine to go, mixed drinks to go from some of your favorite local restaurants here in Texas. They're selling margaritas, I know for sure, by the gallon. You hear me?
6.
Can I get in trouble for sending nudes to someone in Texas? The answer is yes. Yes, you can. Governor Abbott said many people, especially women, get unwanted sexually explicit pictures either by text or social media. It's disgusting. Disgust seems to be what fueled the governor to sign House Bill 2789. House Bill 2789 makes the electronic transmission of sexually explicit material a Class C misdemeanor with a maximum fine of $500 when the recipient hasn't provided consent. That fine is equivalent to a traffic violation. This law won't only just apply to text, but also explicit content sent to email, dating apps, and social media. The illegal explicit content the bill refers to would depict a person engaging in sexual conduct or the person's intimate private parts being exposed.
5.
During a traffic stop, can the police search my private parts in public? The answer is no. House Bill 324 defines body cavity search as an inspection that is conducted of a person's anal or vaginal cavity in any manner. House Bill 324 is designed to address incidences in Texas where law enforcement officers conducted body cavity searches during a traffic stop. In June 2015, Texas police pulled over Carnicia Corley, a 21-year-old college student at the time, for failing to stop her car and searched her under the suspicion that she was carrying marijuana. Then, to her horror, they handcuffed her, body slammed her, put her head under her car, took her pants off, put her ankles behind her ears, and reached into her vagina. A disturbing dashcam video shows the search taking place. You can Google it. From reports, the police alleged that they did find drugs and charged the 21-year-old with possession of marijuana and resisting arrest. The charges were later dropped. Impromptu roadside anal and vaginal probes are prohibited in Texas. Police need a warrant to conduct a cavity search, and even in the event that they do get a warrant, it has to be done in a private facility. My heart goes out to the young girl that had to deal with that. Blessings to you and peace to you.
4.
Can gun owners carry their handguns during a natural disaster? The answer is yes. House Bill 1177 allows handgun owners to carry their concealed firearm without a license for up to 48 hours when they leave an area due to a mandatory evacuation order. This bill allows those complying with an evacuation order to take their guns with them and temporarily carry them without a license, so long as they're not prohibited by the state and federal law from possessing a gun.
3.
Can telemarketers use fake numbers to contact me in Texas? The answer is no. House Bill 1992 prohibits caller ID spoofing. Caller ID spoofing is when callers tamper with information transmitted to people's caller ID to disguise their identities. This bill aims to prevent telemarketers from using annoying tactics by prohibiting them from replicating numbers and misrepresenting the origin of the call. Federal law already mandates that telemarketers transmit a telephone number and, when possible, a name that matches the telemarketer or business on the caller ID. I've never seen that happen. I've blocked a lot of telemarketers in the past, but this bill must be a super duper anti-spoofer because I haven't received that many calls in the past months. So thanks.
2.
Do I have to identify myself to police in Texas? Do I have to identify myself if I am detained in Texas? Do I have to identify myself after an arrest in Texas? This is a really complicated answer, so listen carefully. You only have to identify yourself if you are under arrest, not merely detained. I know that's surprising, but you can Google Penal Code 3802. If you are detained, you may choose not to identify yourself, but lying about your identity while you are detained is an offense, so be careful. If you are under arrest, you have to provide your name, date of birth, and an address to the police officer. This is why officers who stop motorists ask for license and registration. That provides them with information that they need without really asking you for it directly. I've seen so many encounters with law enforcement and deadly online, and I probably do suffer from some sort of PTSD from just viewing those videos. But I think that I just have to reinforce the fact that I want you to continue to stay calm, continue to ask for a supervisor, and just remember that you have to get home to your family and friends. I want you all to stay safe. Peace and love.
1.
Can women inmates be shackled to the bed during labor in Texas? The answer is no. House Bill 650 is a comprehensive bill that addresses many issues related to the conditions of states' incarcerated women. Texas Department of Criminal Justice facilities are prohibited from shackling women during labor and while they're recovering from delivery. Also, this bill prevents shackling after a woman's pregnancy is confirmed by a medical professional. The bill also requires that the department offers up to 10 free feminine hygiene products to women a day. The bill requires that a mother remain with her newborn for 72 hours after giving birth and requiring TDCJ to conduct a study on visitation policies for inmates who are parents. There was no set standard for how long a mother remains with her newborn after giving birth. The bill also states that pregnant inmates have to participate in education training related to prenatal care and parenting skills, and even correctional officers are required to have training related to mental and physical care of a pregnant inmate, including restraints and invasive searches. This only applies to state prison. This does not apply to jails.
0.
Okay, that's a wrap for Know Your Rights Texas edition. I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Thank you so much for joining me in this lesson. Your homework for today is to make sure that you are following us on all social media platforms. You can find us at Levin Hall Podcast. Again, that is at Levin Hall Podcast. And once you follow us or subscribe, make sure you comment which state I should highlight next. Knowledge is key, because if you don't understand your rights, you have no rights. Again, thank you so much for listening. And I'm out. Bye-bye.